Hello everyone, my name is Nick Mahalski. I'm a junior here at DePaul University pursuing a dual major degree in accounting as well as German. Today I would like to provide you with a brief overview of a proposed merger that has just recently come under media spotlight. The buyout involves the two companies Time Warner Cable Incorporated and Comcast Corporation. This deal could potentially hold a wide array of implications for stockholders in each company as well as customers who receive cable service from them. I'd like to first start off with a little background on each company. On the one hand, we have the purchaser in the deal, Comcast Corporation, the largest mass media and communications company in the world by revenue. It is the largest cable company and home internet service provider in the United States and the nation's third largest home telephone service provider. In January 2011, Comcast also acquired the international media company NBC Universal, who is a producer of film and television content, operates cable channels, national channels, and also owns the major film studio Universal Pictures and Universal Parks and Resorts. On the other hand, we have Time Warner Cable, the second largest cable company in the U.S. The company was originally a subsidiary of Time Warner Incorporated, whose major operations included television, film, as well as music production. They own other such entities as New Line Cinema, the film studio Warner Brothers, CNN, and various other production companies. Although, in 2009, Time Warner Cable Company was spun off as an independent company and has simply continued to operate under the license name of its former parent company. Now let's get to the deal itself, which became public on Thursday, February 13th. Within the deal, Time Warner owners would each receive 2.875 shares of Comcast stock in exchange for each share of Time Warner, effectively making this an all-stock deal. This transaction would buy out Time Warner Cable, transferring ownership to Comcast Corporation. Once the deal is final, former Time Warner holders collectively will end up owning about 23% of the combined company. This transaction in turn currently values each Time Warner share at about $158.82. This offer tops a previous Charter Communications Incorporated proposal to buy Time Warner Cable for roughly $132.50 per share. Now I'd like to present you with some of the implications if the deal is approved. The combined group will be the country's dominant provider of television channels and internet connections, reaching roughly 1 in 3 American homes. Comcast and Time Warner Cable are expected to save $1.5 billion in annual costs over 3 years, with about half of that realized in the first year. Additionally, in many areas covered by Comcast and Time Warner Cable, they face competition from rivals such as AT&T and Verizon, which provide both pay TV services and internet hookups. Both AT&T and Verizon are growing quickly. They ended 2013 with 5.5 million and 5.3 million pay TV subscribers respectively. Arguably, a merger could help maintain presence in these markets. Simultaneously, much controversy surrounds this proposed deal. Even before the deal had been formally announced, it was being denounced. Public Knowledge, a Washington-based consumer rights group, said in a statement Wednesday that regulators must stop the deal because it would give Comcast unprecedented gatekeeper power in several important markets. For example, regulators used to enforce a rule that prohibited a single cable company from controlling more than 30% of the market. But Comcast led a challenge to that rule in the mid-2000s, and in 2009, a federal appeals court threw out the 30% cap. The main problem here is that these cable companies own content. For example, Comcast owns NBC, Universal Pictures, and cable networks. This acquisition of Time Warner Cable by Comcast could potentially create a gigantic content business with incredible control over content pricing, packaging, and programming. Essentially, the worry here is that this combined company would control a monopoly on the industry, an occurrence which we all know has traditionally seen fervent opposition. As I end, it is important to note that much still remains to be seen regarding this deal. The proposed combination will undoubtedly be scrutinized by the government. William Baer, who heads the Justice Department's Antitrust Division, recently told the New York Times that the department would closely scrutinize merger in the wireless and cable industries. In regards to this analysis, the two companies are likely to point out that they don't directly compete. For example, Comcast has its own markets like Philadelphia and Washington, D.C., and Time Warner Cable has its own like New York and North Carolina. This lack of overlap may temper antitrust concerns. Analysts also point out that Comcast is remarkably well connected in Washington. In fact, its chief lobbyist, David Cohen, was a guest at the White House state dinner for the French president early in February. Nonetheless, the two companies expect a merger to take effect by the end of the year. Although, as I mentioned, that depends upon how regulators gauge the potential impact on consumers.